And we are live.
Hello, hello, hello.
What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining tonight.
Absolutely. We're excited tonight for this wonderful occasion. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Tonight, we're super excited for the District 3 candidate forum, sponsored by Fiat in Action for Quality Education. Shout out to Ames and KIPP Public School, who is also co-hosting this event.
Again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and thank you for the candidates. And really quick before we get started, we do have a Spanish dial-in number for my Spanish folks. So the number is right there. I think there it is. So the number's right there, and then the access code is right below. And then also for my Catanese folks, we also have a number as well where you can call in to have a translator for you, and the access code is also right there below. All right, so we'll give everybody a second to like get on that call. Again, for everyone who is joining us right now, we'd like to hear from you. So we have a chat box where you have the opportunity to really just blow it up, put how you feel throughout this whole candidate forum. But really quick to start it off, we want to start and we want to see who's here. So let's see. What is your name, your role, school, and why are you here this evening? Let's hear from y'all.
Absolutely. We want to know who is here tonight.
How's everybody's days going so far? I want to hear from y'all a little bit. We kind of starting to get some smoke coming in, unfortunately, because of these fires. Right when we thought we had some clear skies, another fire started, unfortunately.
Yeah, I hope you guys are staying really, really cool. Stay hydrated, drink all your waters. Hey, who's in the chat? Let's find out who is in the chat. We're so grateful for our candidates that are here tonight. Shout out to all of our candidates. Shout out to all of our schools that are going to be represented. Shout out to all the families that are going to be represented tonight.
We got shout out Charles Cole, District 3 alumni and resident. He's looking forward to this conversation. Even if there's folks who don't agree, he says he's rooting for everyone because this is for our kids, and that's very important. We are here for our kids.
Absolutely, our kids matter. Every student around the Bay Area matters. Every student in Oakland really matters tonight. And every day.
Really quick, shout out to Carla, a youth at Oakland Union High School, Ames Superintendent Ames Strong. Shout out to Kid Bridge Academy, they're in the house.
Hey, Vanessa.
CSCE family's in the house as well. Shout out to y'all.
Vanessa is an Ames parent. Shout out.
All right, cool. Again, last one, Gabby Netter, District 3 resident and work at New Schools and Venture Fund. Shout out to everybody again who's on here, and I think we're ready to move on, Lene.
Absolutely. So welcome everyone to the District 3 candidate forum. I am Lene Chisley. I'm a parent at Kid Bridge Academy. I am also the chair of the KIPP Family Association. I am an East Oakland native, and I am also a public servant here with the city of Oakland. I am so excited about today. I am also excited that I am doing this forum because education means a lot to me, especially for all children in the city of Oakland. So I want to make sure that they all get a great quality education. I am super passionate about that. How are you, Javi?
I'm doing great, Lene. Thank you. Really quick, just to introduce myself. My name is Javier Barraza, and I'm a charter school alumni and Oakland resident as well. A little bit about myself. Throughout the past couple of years, I've been a youth organizer, mainly working with charter school students across Oakland. And throughout these years, my main goal has really been to just empower my youth, make sure that their voices are being heard and that they're not being forgotten. So when it comes down to it, like, I'm here because I realize, like many of you, that the Oakland Unified School District board members are play a crucial role when it comes down to our schools remaining open or being closed, and how schools get funded. So like I said, I want to thank everybody for being here. It's very important that we take the initiative of making sure that we get to know these candidates and what they stand for. So thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. We're excited about tonight.
Yeah, and really quick before we continue, me and Linnea are going to share some data for you guys. So in total, Oakland Unified School District is home to 16,866 charter public school students, 32% of the district total student population. In District 3, over 30% of families have chosen charter public schools.
OUSD charter students are 20% Black American, 57% Latino, and 74% are socioeconomically disadvantaged, meaning they qualify for free or reduced lunch, or homeless, migrated, or in foster care. In addition, 28% are English learners and 10% are students with IEPs. Oakland Charter School serves a similar population to the district traditional schools, which are 23% Black Americans, 44% Latinos, 72% socioeconomically disadvantaged, and 33% are English learners. 14% of the district students have IEP. We are proud to be a diverse community of schools.
To add on, D3, the district tonight's candidates hope to represent, is home to 8 charter schools serving almost 3,600 students. We have many of these charter students and families viewing this event. Again, shout out to all y'all, as well as many traditional public school students and families and partners and community members from around the city. Shout out to everybody.
Yes, thank you all for being here. We know we are involved and raise our voices and call on our elected officials to prioritize students' equality and access. The entire public school system improves for all students. Your voice matters, and your vote matters as well.
So really quick, please give yourselves a round of applause for being here and demonstrating your agency and power. We can't really see your round of applause, but let's blow it up in the chat. Shout out to everybody. I would like to also acknowledge KIPP Bridge and Ames K-12 schools for co-hosting this forum in collaboration with Families in Action for Quality Education, a coalition of charter schools across Oakland. First, to get us started, I would like to introduce Michael McDaniel. Shout out to Michael.
Shout out, Michael.
He's a FIA parent who will tell us more about himself and FIA.
Hi, my name is Michael McDaniel Jr., and I'm a parent at Bay Tech and Cox Academy. And I'm here this evening because I believe in high quality education access for all students in Oakland. As someone who grew up and born and raised in Oakland, I know how hard it is for children to have a shot at that, have a shot at getting the kind of education that will set them up for success in life. Each of us in here is fighting for better education and a better future for students. By supporting all kinds of high-quality public schools, charter and traditional, we help make that possible. Since March 2019, Families in Action for Quality Education has been engaging, educating, and building leadership capacity among stakeholders, including families, youth, teachers, and school leaders, and board members. Now our priority is to build collective power by bringing all these groups to build a strong movement. It's time to break out of isolation and build power through unity. We want to ensure family and youth voices are heard and prioritized. OUSD School Board makes many decisions that impact charter schools, like whether they are open, closed, and whether or not they get access to a facility. Today, you will have the chance to hear directly from the people who want to represent us and our schools in Board District 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. So many of our parents have gone through Oakland District schools and are looking for high quality school options.
Again, shout out to Michael. And next, we would like to introduce Mario, an amazing parent and FIA leader. Mario is going to share to us about the importance of signing our voting pledge.
Oh, also, if you have your cell phone, click on the link there and it'll take you to our pledge. We'll put it in the chat box.
Hola, mi nombre es Mario Rodríguez y soy un padre con 2 hijos en Lighthouse, una niña en 7º grado y un niño en 4º grado, y un padre líder con la organización FIA. Hoy les invito a que se unan a tomar el compromiso del poder del voto. Estas elecciones son muy importantes para la educación de todos nuestros estudiantes y que para que podamos hacer valer todos nuestros derechos, sin importar raza, religión o cualquier otro aspecto, porque pienso que nuestros hijos y todos los estudiantes merecen la misma educación y merecen tener mejores oportunidades y llegar al éxito, como es llegar al college y a una mejor carrera profesional. Y por eso les pido que se comprometan a votar y correr la voz sobre estas elecciones, tomando el compromiso del poder del voto, y los que no puedan votar nos ayuden a promover estas elecciones e invitar a la gente que sí puede votar para que sí de esa manera salgan de la oscuridad y hagan valer sus derechos, compartiéndolo con todos nosotros. Gracias y voten, por favor.
All right, so I'm going to translate for Mario Rodriguez. He's a parent at Lighthouse. And what you heard him say was, tonight, you'll be learning about the candidates for the school board. It is very important that you take your voting power seriously. I ask that you join me in taking the voting pledge. This election is very important for our students' education. That is why I ask you to commit to vote and spread the word about this election by taking the voting power pledge and sharing it with others. You can find the link in the chat box. Everyone, please click the link in the chat box. Let's get everyone committed to showing up and showing out at the voting polls on November 3rd.
Again, gracias, Mario. Thank you, Mario. So many of our leaders, like Mario, see why we must pledge to increase our voting power through getting registered. Voting, and if we can't vote for ourselves, make sure that we talk to others who can, to make sure that we also empower them. Tonight, we encourage you to take the pledge. We will provide a link. And also what you can do is use the scan bar that's provided right here. You can put your phone to it, and it should pop out, and you can also register to vote through there and take the voting pledge.
All right, without further ado, next, I would like to introduce District 3 candidates. Now, I have the pleasure of introducing the candidates for District 3. Mayeli Eggerly works as the Executive Director for Onyx Scholar, a nonprofit organization in Oakland that connects high school students with historical Black colleges and universities, and at Bridges for Schools to Work, helping graduates with disabled secure employment. She says OUSD, like the rest of the city, has changed a lot in the past 10 years, but many students and families still need greater access to resources. Next up, we'll have Mark Hurley, works at Education Superhighway, a company that brings internet access into classrooms. Creating universal web access for students has become an important goal since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic. Bridging the digital divide is one of his goals if elected, and he thinks his experience as product manager for Education Superhighway could help. He also works as a special education teacher at Anna Brewer Middle School during Teach for America. Our other two candidates, Vance Cedric Williams and Maximo Santana and Cherie Gaz, are not able to join us tonight.
So let's have a round of applause for our candidates who are here. We really do appreciate y'all. Please give them a shout out. They really took the time out of the day to be here and join us throughout this candidate forum. In their answers to our questions, we will learn more about these candidates and what they will do about helping bring more opportunities for all our Oakland Public School students. Our format will start with yes or no questions, then short responses and include open-ended questions. Please note that we will be strict on timekeeping to make sure that every candidate gets equal time. On that note, we'll be helped by our timekeeper, Miss Lenita Reed. Miss Lenita Reed will give you a 30-second warning and show you when time is up. Once the time is up, one of us will interject, and then we'll mute your microphone. All right, let's get started, y'all.
All right. Tonight, I'll be asking 5 yes or no questions for candidates for our lighting round. Candidates, please answer yes or no only. All right. You ready? Number 1, we choose charter schools for our children, and we want to ensure that we continue to have options. Will you support them to stay open?
Yes.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yes.
Awesome. Next question. If elected, will you support a moratorium on opening new charter schools or expansion of charter schools?
No, I won't support a moratorium.
I would
All
say
right.
no.
Thank you so much for your response. If elected, will you ensure that charter schools get equitable funding, including district bonds, parasol tax, and other revenues?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. If you are elected, will you commit to visiting all of our schools in District 3, including charter schools, each year?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. If you are elected, will you commit to listening and to meeting with parents and youth of all other schools in District 3, including charter schools?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mark, I didn't hear you.
I said yes.
Oh, sorry about that.
I
Awesome.
think we said it at the same time.
Did it.
All right, awesome. Thank you for answering those yes or no questions. So now for the remaining of the questions, you will have 2 minutes to respond. Audience members, again, if you have something that resonates with you during this time, during the candidate forum, I want to remind you to also, blow up that box, blow up that chat box. Just, say how you feel in there. Pass it on to you, Lene.
All right. Next, I would like to introduce Anastasia Barnes Peretta from KIPP Bridge Academy, and she's going to ask our first question.
Good afternoon, District 3 candidates. My name is Anastasia Barnes Perliak. My husband and I are parents at KIPP Bridge Academy. We believe that every child deserves, needs, requires a level of high quality education. Our son and many children's future is at stake. Please share with us, why would you like to represent District 3? Thank you for your time.
Awesome. That's a great question. And for this one, we can start off with Maya, and then we can go to Mark.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this question. And I just want to thank everyone on this call for this opportunity. And the reason why I'm fit to actually serve as a district leader here in Oakland, California, I'm motivated to run for school board because first and foremost, it wasn't too long ago that when I was a student here in Oakland, and I'm a proud Oakland native. And then also, once I earned my degree at Texas Southern University, I wanted to come back home and serve my community here in District 3. And also, I also founded an organization called Onyx Scholars that helps students in this very district matriculate from high school all the way to historical Black colleges and universities. So I have the executive director skill set and I've actually cultivated a successful college access opportunities right here in District 3, working one-on-one with students. So I think the school board needs someone that has worked personally with the families here in District 3. And not only have I worked personally with families here in District 3, I have also worked with many low-income students in this family, and also students that have disabilities here, population here in Oakland, California. And also with the entrepreneur experience as being an executive director and maintain the nonprofit organization, I know what it takes to govern, to be a part of the board, and also how to sustain a nonprofit and collaborate with people in the community. And as a former house organizer, I work with grassroots organizations.
30
so much for
seconds.
this time.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And now we can go to Mark.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I served as a special education teacher in Oakland Unified School District, and I served primarily Black and Brown students who dominate the IEP population, the special education population. A lot of times those students are extremely bright and not necessarily have a learning disability, but oftentimes struggle with the construct of a classroom as it's set up primarily to serve white kids. I mean, that's been the way schools have been set up for a long time. I want to be a school board member because I want to help to change that. I want to make sure that our schools are addressing the needs of all children, and not just children with special needs, but children of all colors and all races and all creeds. This is the place where we live in a world-class city here in Oakland, and we have the opportunity to deliver a world-class education. But we don't do that for most of the kids in this district. Only 1 in 3 children in these schools read at grade level. That statistic is even harsher if you're a Black or a Brown student, and it could be as low as 1 in 5 students read at grade level. So I want to make sure that we do the things that we need to do to change that and make sure that every student in our district is reading at grade level by the time they're in 3rd grade, so that they have the option to choose a career after college or after high school and live and contribute back to the city of Oakland. I'm committed to doing what's necessary to reverse the trajectory of white supremacy that dominated our school district for the last decades.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you to both of you, and thank you, Anastasia, for that amazing question. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Stephanie Velasquez, a FIA youth, who will present our next question.
Everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Velasquez, and I'm a junior at Oakland Charter High School. Tonight, I am here advocating for all public charter school students and their education. In the state of California, the Prop 39 law provides for all public school students, including charter school students, to have fair access to public district facilities. Our parents work, pay taxes, and parcel taxes, and we are entitled to equal access under the law. However, in Oakland, charter schools do not have equal access. The Oakland Unified School District, one of the largest stewards of public property in the city, it is estimated that there are 1,500 empty, unused classroom seats in district buildings. In one Oakland charter school, they are forced to pay $2,000 per student for private facility costs, taking away valuable funds for education to use them for facilities. So my question to you tonight is, do you believe our students deserve equal access to quality public school facilities? And what steps will you take to follow the law and ensure that all public school students have access to quality facilities? Please let us know, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie Velasquez. I'm going to start with Mark.
Thank you. I think the school district and the charter organizations have just reached a settlement in the lawsuit that was about this particular issue. So I know that there's progress being made towards resolving this issue. I agree with Stephanie that this is a critical issue, that every family and every child in this district deserves access to the kind of facilities that are conducive to learning. And the school district does have a lot of property and should be making that available in an equitable way to all the charter schools that we have chartered in the district. So I'm fully in line with what you're asking, and I believe strongly that we should be following that law. At the same time, I think we need to make sure that every school is providing the kind of high quality education that our students are entitled to and deserve. And so the district should also hold those charter schools accountable for academic achievement and the kinds of things that we would expect to hold the district schools accountable to. I think we're in a position that we can do that. And as a board member, I'll make an effort to both hold the schools accountable and provide the adequate resources that are necessary for every child to have an opportunity in Oakland.
Thank you, Mark. Can we hear from you, Maya?
Sure. And thank you so much for this question. I do agree with Stephanie. I believe as a school board member that our students, all public school students, deserve the equitable opportunity to have access to the best quality education. And my motto is an equitable education for all students. With that being said, my motto, I definitely will implement, policies and making sure that we are in line, and that students, and we're using our resources and making sure that spaces are being used and being available for all public students, and then also falling into line with everything that's taking place. So as your board member, I do agree, and I would fall in line.
Thank you once again, candidates, and Stephanie Velasquez for your response. And also your response relating to the need for accessing quality facilities. Next, I'm going to introduce Jenny Ortiz, FIA Youth at Arise High School.
My name is Jenny Ortiz. I am a student at Arise High School. I'm currently a senior. I joined FIA as a way to educate not only myself, but the rest of my community about charter schools in our city. Therefore, the ERS study concluded that Oakland charter schools have less funds for education, in part because we serve families with higher socioeconomic needs, and funding like LCFF, concentration funding, is allocated to charter schools at the district average. Recently, the Oakland ED Fund allocated inequitable amounts of COVID relief funds to high-needs families just because they are in charter schools. Do you believe that OUSD has done enough to ensure the funding is going to the students who generate it? As a board member, what additional steps will you take to ensure that the equitable funding is going to the most vulnerable students, including charter school students?
Thank you so much, Jenny. We're going to start with you, Maya.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for the question. Just to weigh in on the question, I believe that Oakland Unified School District has done a good job as far as distributing funding for COVID, and especially during this time of distant learning. But there always is room. There is definitely always room for improvement. And I think right now, as a board member, one thing that I would like to do and to see more so with the Oakland Unified School District that I know I could bring to the table is basically with the community partnerships, more expanding our community partnerships with Oakland Reach and different nonprofit organizations, and actually organizing community sessions where we hear directly from Oakland students and families. As a district board leader, I think it's very important, especially in this age of time with these uncertain times, is that we actually collaborate and make sure, and as a school member leader, I will make sure that student voices and family voices are implementing into the policies moving forward to make sure that our kids are receiving a quality education in the midst of distance learning. So the thing is, we've done a great, Oakland Unified School District has done a tremendous job as far as distributing laptops and working with other organizations. But I think as far as Oakland Unified School District is concerned, one thing that I know that I can do, coming from a grassroots organization, I can definitely bring forth more access and more funding opportunities to make sure that students are actually have that access through Oakland.
You have 30 seconds remaining for the 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maya. Mark?
Yeah, I believe that the Oakland Unified School District budget has been a rather opaque process, and it's been very difficult for us to understand where the money is going through that budget. And I think one of the things that I would work very hard as establishing policy on the board to make sure that budget process is much more transparent, so that we can see where the money is going and assure that those programs that were identified are actually being funded as they should be, equitably across all schools. And I believe I've seen a couple of comments in the chat that all students in Oakland are public school students in Oakland. And I agree with that. All of our public and district-run school students and charter school students are public school students in this city, and should have equal access to the funding that comes through the state, through local funding, and through the federal government. Those three sources of funding should be equitably distributed amongst all the children. And I believe that Oakland would like to do that, and I'm not sure that in the past, the school board has always had a clear picture of where the money was coming from and going to, because the budgeting process was a little bit out of whack. We have a new chief business officer who can make a huge difference in helping us understand and clarify that budget process and make sure that we're using our money wisely and equitably and distributing it in ways that help to change the trajectory of students' lives. That's what I'm all about.
Awesome. Thank you, both candidates, and again, thank you to Jenny. Shout out Jenny for the amazing question. We appreciate hearing what priorities if you're elected to represent D3. Next, we have JAMILA Bowling, a KIPP Bridge parent, who will lead our next question.
Good evening. My name is JAMILA Bowling, and I am the parent of a first grader and seventh grader at KIPP Bridge Academy in District 3. I am here tonight because my public high school failed to prepare me for college and beyond. As a parent, I want to ensure that my children, as well as future generations, are prepared. Many of us here tonight have chosen our charter schools because they provide higher academic quality and outcomes. For example, did you know that of the top 10 middle schools that serve at least 50% students who are low income, that 9 of the top 10 are charters? This is true for both ELA and math. Across our Oakland high schools, there is a significant difference in A through G completion for Black and Latino students among charter and district schools. If you do not complete A through G, you will not be able to apply to a four-year university in California. For example, the top 5 high schools for A through G completion for Black students are all charter schools. For Latino students, 9 of the top 11 schools for A through G completion are charters. Here's my question. As a school board candidate, do you recognize the success that the charter schools have accomplished and the diverse options that are being provided to students and families? If you are elected to represent District 3, how will you represent the interests of 3,600 families in District 3 who have chosen charter schools?
Awesome. Such a good question. And we're going to start off with you, Mark.
I absolutely do understand the data that shows that those schools are performing much better in terms of preparing students for college. And I agree that that's an essential part of what we expect from every school in Oakland, not just the charter schools, but we should expect the same thing from our public schools, from the district-run schools. So I am fully invested in making sure that families continue to have that choice. I have said so from the beginning of my campaign. This is not a new position for me. I support choice because I believe without choice, you disempower families. And disempowerment is not a policy that I can support. Secondly, as it comes to the issue of funding and supporting charter schools, I mean, I want to go back briefly just to that previous question. I mean, I really think I saw in the chat the comment about the $20 million Measure G bond that's only being distributed to OUSD schools. That's unfortunate, and I think that's something that we need to look deeply at as board members to make sure that we're making the kinds of changes to equitably support the charter schools in this community. I also believe that we should be looking to charter schools to do what charter schools were first intended to be, which was a proving ground for better strategies for education. And I think the district could be taking examples from what's going on at charter schools and rolling them back into the district educational programs to make sure that we're doing the same thing for kids in public schools, in the district schools, as we're doing for kids in charter schools. And finally, I continue to be focused on the issue of literacy.
You have 30 seconds.
Thank you. I continue to be focused on the issue of literacy, which in our school district is a crisis. We're in a state of crisis. And if our kids can't read, they can't do A to G requirements. So I need to make sure that we need to set policies that get kids reading by the time they're in 3rd grade so that they can learn to read to learn from the time they're in 4th grade on.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. And we're going to pass it on to Maya.
Yes, thank you. This is a great question, and I do commend the charter schools for what they're doing in college access. As a college access leader, the charter schools, we can learn, the public school system can learn a lot from, as Mark has specified, and I definitely agree. The Oakland Unified School District can learn a lot and take in what the charter schools are doing as far as college access is concerned. And there's also statistics that say that charter schools also are sending a lot of our students here in Oakland, California, to historical Black colleges and universities, and they're preparing our students. So there are some things as far as charter schools are concerned and the A&G requirements are concerned. The charter schools have definitely contributed to the success of college access, and then also working directly in the college access arena. The future of students is something that I deeply care about, and I did want to just say that. And thank you.
Thank you so much, candidates, and thank you so much, Jamila Bowen.
And I know those were the 4 questions that we had, prepared and set up, but we have some time, so we want to take this time to go to our audience to see if our audience has a question that they might want to ask our candidates. And I think Priscilla can help us out. If there's questions, I believe it should pop up on the screen. If not, we'll try to get it from the comments that we're looking at right now. So, folks, if we can get us a question, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely, we want to hear from you. What questions do you have for the candidates?
It could be a different question, or it could be just, a question to, you might want to know more about one of their comments or one of the responses to the questions.
Okay.
I know we're currently waiting for some questions to come up.
Yeah. Who has a question?
It's y'all time to shine. Let me hear y'all.
This is not the time to be shy. This is the right time to ask our candidates all the questions you want to know.
Excellent.
This is so important. Thank you all for coming out tonight.
So I got one question here. Yeah, I can go with this. So it's a question from Carla, Oakland Community High School. Shout out to Carla, and it's coming up right there actually. So, what will you as a board member do to help balance the resources given to Black and brown kids to those who aren't?
We'll start with you, Mark.
I appreciate this question. I have said from the beginning of my campaign that one of the things we need to do is make reparation for the decades-long disenfranchisement of students of color that live in this and go to school in this district. I grew up in Montclair, and I went to a very, very prestigious and very privileged elementary school, middle school, and high school. And that was not the experience that many other children in Oakland were having at the same time, and this was back in the 1960s and 70s. I believe strongly that we have made small but very small strides in towards addressing systemic racism in Oakland, and I think we need to make big steps in order to make those changes. So when I talk about equitable funding for schools that serve Black and brown students, what I'm talking about is bringing in the resources that are necessary to raise up the standards and hold the district accountable to the kinds of educational instructional services that are required for those kids to get on par with the kids that are going to school in places where I went to school when I was a kid. I think equity is not about giving every kid the same thing. Equity is about giving those who need more resources. And I'm all for that. And I believe that we've done a disservice. We have you see it now in the redlining, real estate redlining and digital redlining that has happened, that has left so many children left out during this digital divide. Those kinds of choices that companies made about not installing sufficient bandwidth in their neighborhoods to be able to deliver a sufficient internet.
Mark, you have 30 seconds remaining.
And the real estate agencies that loaned money, the banks that loaned money in the 60s and 70s that refused to give loans to people that were people of color because they didn't want them living in particular neighborhoods. Those kinds of changes have had a lasting impact on our education system. And I'm all about changing that and making reparations for what's happened in the past.
Thank you, Mark. Maya?
No, absolutely. I'm so thankful for this question. This is a really important question in the sign of times that we're living in as of right now. As a board member, what I would do to help balance the resources given to Black and brown kids who aren't receiving the proper resources is basically doing what I've been doing this whole time. As you all may know, I am the executive director of a HBCU, which stands for Historical Black Colleges and Universities. I work with students in this district and families in this district one-on-one to help them to actually to close those gaps that we see that and actually make first-time generation college students believe that they can make it and they can receive a college education with the resources. And I've always, and as a district leader, I've created resources. And before the pandemic hit, I actually produced an HBCU pop-up tour at Oakland High School where I distribute a college fair, Greek step show, and I delivered on my own access opportunities to make sure that students in this district feel seen and they feel heard and they know that they have leaders in this area that care about them. So providing access and providing access to students in this district, Black and brown students, this is my life's work. And I predominantly help students who are Black and brown for the last 5 years in actually starting and founding this organization. So I've worked with 2 students at Ralph Bush, and I helped them receive job opportunities at Jamba Juice. So not only am I helping students receive opportunities in college opportunities, but also helping students in this area who are poverty stricken and feel like the scholarships, they can't have access to scholarships. But as a board leader, the work that I'm doing right now, I plan to execute that work and expand it.
Maya, you have 30 seconds left in the 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'm done. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you to both of you. And I believe, no, why not? We have some more time. Let's take one more question. So we're going to wait for Priscilla to put it up there. Shout out to Priscilla for getting that done. And shout out to y'all for asking these great questions. All right, cool. So the next question is, what can we do to share successful instructional practices across our public schools? Break down the walls. And Lene, who started off last time? I don't remember.
Last time we started with Maya.
All right, so Maya, we're gonna start off with you this time.
Yes, so what we could do to basically share instructional practices across the board with the public schools. Again, I just think right now what the district needs right now is collaboration. And also we need to actually hear out. We need to implement more of the parent and student voices in order to receive great feedback on what the students need as far as the instructional practices are concerned. So I just believe that we need to actually, as board members, just hear out what the community has to say. And then also working directly with teachers and also just brainstorming opportunities where there are missing gaps and loops that our families so desperately need in the classroom. And I just want to just say that.
Awesome, thank you. And we're gonna pass it on to Mark.
Yeah, I think the spirit of the invention of the charter school, the idea was that you would charter a school to give it the opportunity to explore new methods for education, and that kind of information would flow back in a virtuous cycle with the school district that provided the charter. That doesn't happen here, and I'm disappointed that it hasn't happened and doesn't happen more. I know that there are leaders in the charter schools that have great relationships with district staff, and that there is communication at that level, but there seems to be some. I think I would say that there's a little bit of a bristling when it comes to some of our union members that struggle with that kind of relationship. San Jose Unified School District did something really effective, which is that they built a relationship between the school district and the union leadership that allows them to do a little bit more effective collaboration between all of the schools in that area, and it's proven to be a really effective thing, and it's something that I would like to see us try to take on in Oakland, to build that kind of collaboration that we can see, so that we can take best practices. Why shouldn't the school districts schools benefit from what the charter schools are doing that allows those kids to be more successful and complete those A to G requirements? So I think there is the need for this kind of collaboration. I think there's an appetite for it. And I think we just need to figure out a way to get adults out of the way so that we can actually see that kind of collaboration for the benefit of children in this school district, because every child in this school district deserves to get access to the A to G requirements and have the skills necessary to complete those requirements. And I think we can do that if we break down some of the barriers that have sprung up through some of the traditional sort of
Hi, Mark. You have 30 more seconds remaining.
That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both candidates. Do we have time for one more question?
Linnea, I know you wrote a question up here. I'm not sure if you want to go with that one.
Yeah, I do. All right. So there was another question asked. The district charter debate hurts families. How are you going to help us work together to ensure Oakland students succeed regardless of governance structure? We'll start with you, Mark.
Yeah, okay. I think this is, yeah, you're right. This has been a divisive conversation in Oakland, and I think some of the groups that have sprung up around the city that have said the reason that we have problems in the school district is because we have so many charter schools. What I would like to think is that we have so many schools that are trying to do a good job to educate our children, and the ones that are so far being the most successful at that are the charter schools in this district. There are successful public schools. District schools. I'm not suggesting that there aren't, but I think we could be taking the best of both and blending them together and having conversations and really try to put behind us some of the animosity that seems to come at the adult level. I don't think if you asked a child whether or not going to a charter school or a district school was a better choice for them, they would all say, I like my school, right? I think they want to go to school and learn, and they don't carry this distinction that what charter school is or what district school is. They think of it as their school. And I think we need to take a lesson from our children and learn to see school as what it is, a place for learning, and try to work together and get past some of this division.
Thank you. Maya?
Oh, sorry. Can I say one more thing? I think one of the I still have 30 seconds at least, I think. One of the things that that a lot of families are pointing to is this idea that somehow we're privatizing schools, that we're taking money away from the public school district, and we're privatizing it. It's not true. In Oakland, no charter school is a for-profit entity. These are all nonprofit schools. They operate in the public benefit. That's the way a nonprofit organization operates in California. You have to be a public benefit corporation. So I want to make sure that we understand that charter schools are subject to the same sort of public oversight as a school district is.
Thank you so much, Mark. Maya?
Thank you. This is a hot topic right here, and right now, Oakland, right now, the community is in disarray with this debate, and I just feel that right now, with the Oakland for sale slogans that are going on right now, I just feel that we need to stop putting political slogans in ahead of our students. I feel that our students deserve to have, again, the power of a choice of a school. And I just think it's quite unfair for the debate of the charter schools versus public schools to be happening. I feel like it's all this rhetoric is being lost on the side of our children. And I think right now the focal point should be our children. And I heard that Mark was saying that, and I definitely agree with that. I feel that right now we need to focus on away from in the school closures. It's really emotional, and as a school board leader, we will have to make difficult decisions. But at the end of the day, I just feel that with the debate, quality schools need to be at the forefront, and then also students need to be at the forefront again. And I think Oakland needs to get back to that. And as a district leader and as a leader in education in general, I would put the students in the forefront.
Thank you so much for your response.
You two have been awesome so far. Thank you. We do have, and thank you for for your willingness to answer these questions, these extra questions. Before we go on to our closing statements, we do want to bring one thing up, and it was a question from Charles Cole. Priscilla, I'm not sure if you're able to find it or bring it up. I know you put it up earlier, and I apologize for that. I'm not seeing it. There it goes. So, Mr. Charles Cole's question is, to the candidates, how do you feel about some of the candidates not showing up to this space? And before I give you guys the chance to answer, I just want to make it clear that Maximo didn't respond, nor did Cherise. And Van Cendrick did RSVP, but he had a family emergency today. But yeah, and we could start off with who was it? I forgot. Maya.
Yes. So the reason, how I feel about the other candidates not showing up to this space, it shows that again, we have putting political differences in the forefront and not thinking about the students. And I feel that right now, I know a few of the candidates are, for Oakland not for sale, the slogans and everything of that nature. But I just feel that right now, our kids this is a critical time for our students. And I feel that right now, if you are a leader and you care about the students and you care about the future of our Oakland students and making sure that students are actually, you care about students, I just feel that you should be here in this space. And I feel that if you don't support charter schools, you should put that aside for the students. And I'm a little disappointed that they are not here. And it just shows that they might be possibly one-sided. And I just feel that right now, the kids need all of our support despite our differences.
Awesome. Thank you. And we're going to pass it on to Mark.
Oh, thank you, Charles. I agree. I mean, I think it's unfortunate that the conversations have become sort of divided along a very sort of central line about the issue of charter schools or school closures. I think that's something that's been sort of the hot button issues this time around. And the other candidates tend to be more on a different wavelength than Maya and I. I think she and I are much more aligned in terms of where we stand on these positions. And I think, and I will say that I think Maximo is a little bit more along the lines of where we're coming from. He has a background in charter schools as well, so he has a little bit more of a perspective on that. The other two candidates, I think, are a little bit more of a hard line about that issue, and I think it comes from, I think, a sort of a collective bargaining mindset around school districts and what it means to have to bargain for wages with in negotiations with a union. I think those are the kinds of things that oftentimes stand in the way of really kind of putting aside adult issues and thinking about children. And I think that's what we need to really focus on, is what do children in this school district need? And I don't hear that coming out of the other candidates as often because they are more focused on these adult issues.
Thank you so much for your response.
Thank you again. Thank you to the candidates. And shout out to everybody who, I know there's a lot of questions I'm seeing, but if we answer them all, and if they got to answer them all, we'll be here all night. So we're gonna move on to the closing statements. So we're coming to the end of tonight's candidate forum. If there's something that you didn't get to share with us this evening, please share it in your closing statement. You will have 90 seconds for that closing statement, and we can start off with Mark.
Well, thank you again for this opportunity. It's really been great to have a chance to talk with you all. One of my key priorities for this district comes out of the issue of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is bridging the digital divide. The digital divide existed well before the pandemic, but we've seen it kind of drawn into relief because everybody is forced to stay home and learn from home. I work every day for an organization called Education Superhighway. My work is directly focused on bridging the digital divide. I'm working with state leaders across the country, district leaders across the country, working with service providers to find solutions to bring internet to every child and every household in this country. I think it's crucially important, and I think it should be a right in the same way that you can send a letter for 50 cents, you should be able to get a high-speed internet access in your home. So I'm committed to making sure that our district is doing what we need to do, both in terms of providing technical resources and providing the software and technical support and professional development for teachers so that effective home learning can take place. We're going to be learning from home even as we go back to our schools. We're going to be learning from home even as we go back to our schools.
Mark, you have 30 seconds.
Okay, thanks. Even as we get back to school in the building, there's going to be a period of time when we're going to continue to learn from home. And that digital divide has got to be bridged once and for all. And our families need to have the kind of access that they need so that the kids can learn from home.
Thank you, Mark. Can we hear from you, Maya?
Absolutely. I just wanted to say it's been an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. And I thank you so much for this invitation. And for my closing statement, I just want to say I'm a third generation Oakland voice here. I'm a homegrown candidate, and I've invested, this is my life's work. And I work primarily one-on-one with District 3 students and family for the past 6 years. And as a community organizer, I have a proven track record of producing fresh and innovative strategies that have closed the access and economic gap here in District 3. And I've worked as a housing justice organizer, and I've been very successful in campaigns on bringing families in the community together. So I want to bring that grassroots connections and my experience to the Oakland School Board. And given the fact, again, I come from a long line of educators here in Oakland, so I know what it takes. I know the history and I know the future. And just like Mark, I'm very invested in the digital divide. I've worked tremendously with KIPP Center of Social Impact. I've worked with Merritt College's computer science department to make sure that students in this area in Oakland, California at large, make sure they have access and see individuals and tech founders that look exactly like them. So I have a heart for this community, and I know I have exactly what it takes to bring access and to bring an equitable education for all students here in Oakland, Black, brown, all ethnicities, because at Oakland, we're a melting pot, and that's what makes us better, and that's what makes us the greatest state in the country. And I just want to just be able to create that legacy and expand the legacy here in Oakland.
Thank you, Maya. Candidates, thank you. We want to sincerely thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for your service and your dedication to the students and families of Oakland throughout your career. We are grateful for your interest in representing our community of 3,600 families who have chosen charter schools in Oakland Unified School District 3. Audience, let's give our candidates a round of applause.
Can I just add one thing that's for both Maya and my benefit? Oakland uses ranked choice voting. So please make sure that you put down Maya or me first or second. It's not just a one vote choice here. If you vote for Maya first, please mark me for your second choice. And I think that's something that's really critical to making sure that a candidate who is sensitive to your issues gets elected.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you guys as well. That was great. It was a great forum. Before we get into a poll that we have with all of our families, I really want to take a second to go to our comments and see how our families feel about it as well. We've had some positive comments, some great feedback. And I want to share one for Mr. David Castillo. Thanks to the candidate for showing up and sharing your perspective. Appreciate the civility in this debate. It's refreshing. I want to share one more from Carla Bonilla, and she just said how it's really about the students, and that's where I lie as well, and I'm pretty sure that's where Lene lies, and a lot of our folks lie. We want to make sure that our Oakland students are really receiving the best education that they can receive. And Lene, I want to see how you also feel about it a little bit.
Absolutely. I want to say shout out to Vanessa. She said this was a wonderful forum tonight. And then Ida, she said Mark and Maya. She would like to thank Mark and Maya for taking the time to meet with us today. Much appreciated.
Yeah, overall, a great forum. And thank you again for, your willingness to, answer those extra questions. Cool. Now we got some time to get into a poll that we have. So based on what you know about these candidates so far, we want to hear from you. Please take our survey. A link has been added on the chat box. If you had to vote this evening, who would you vote for? As you know, in Oakland, we have a ranked choice voting, like Mark was saying. So please indicate in the survey what your first, second, and third, well, we don't have third right now, but first, second candidates would be. And while that's going on, so the link has been provided. You can also scan the barcode right there. While this is going on, we have a charter school alumni and field leader, Mary Rose. Shout out to Mary Rose. She's one of my closest colleagues. And she's going to share an important opportunity for all of the folks listening here. So tonight you decided to join this forum, and we want to invite you to stay engaged and continue to exercise power and leadership. So we're going to take another second for this, make sure everybody gets it, but we're going to go with Mary Rose real quick.
Hello everyone, my name is Mary Rose Martinez and I am an alumni from Oakland Unity High School and a youth organizer with FIA. I am here today to invite you guys to our FIA Summit citywide election kickoff and voting celebration at Aspire Berkeley Merit Academy for all of our D3 and D1 families. Thank you, families, educators, youth, and community members for coming out to this candidate forum. You guys showed us a lot of power this evening with your presence. And I want to invite each and every one of you guys to our citywide election kickoff and FIA Summit on October 6th. We will all be coming together from all of the districts across Oakland in even bigger numbers to show our power as charter school stakeholders and to stand up for access to quality public schools. Before we wrap up this evening, please RSVP for the FIA Founding Summit and citywide elections and voting celebration at Aspire Berkeley Mayor Academy on October 6th. You can find a link in the chat box and a QR code to scan on the screen. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're going to take this time and let our audience go ahead and register.
And so far, we've only gotten a couple of votes. So if we can bring up that barcode again and put the link up again for my folks listening, please vote. And as to what Mayor Rose was saying, we have a FIA summit coming up on October 6th. If you guys can join, it would be great. We're gonna have some food, some music, and we're gonna be very safe about it. But it'll be a great opportunity to show, FIA, just show that we're out here. We're kind of trying to build a community of folks who really care about, our Oakland students.
Absolutely. I think this is a great opportunity for you to just come out. I mean, get excited about voting, decorate your cards, and let's celebrate voting in this election, at least.
Come get something to eat. That's my thing.
I want to see everybody and, just really get excited about voting. I mean, we're going through so much, in the world every day. And to get excited about voting, I mean, who does this in Oakland? Like a celebration for voting? Like I'm showing up, my whole family is showing up, and I want you all to show up. So all of the schools that are represented here, whether you're from East Oakland, West Oakland, North Oakland, show up and let's celebrate voting this year.
Exactly. And again, folks, make sure you're doing the poll really quick. We only have a few polls up already, so we want to make sure that everybody's doing the poll. We want to get as many of you on there. Yeah, so far, I mean, honestly, this has been great. I really appreciate you, Mark, and Maya. I feel like a lot of parents and students who were listening onto this forum really just appreciated where you were coming from and your point of views.
Absolutely. We appreciate you both coming out tonight and sharing your views. And we're so excited. I'm excited about this one. I'm excited about voting this year.
Cool. I'm just waiting for the last numbers and I'm gonna share it out. But
absolutely. I just want to shout out to all the families that are here tonight that are representing. I want to shout out to all the educators that are here in the house. Shout out to FIA for putting on this wonderful forum, as well as KIPP Bridge Academy, Ames High, Ames T, I think it's TK through 12, Ames School. Shout out to all of you, all the parents, the guardians. I understand that you all are going through learning in a digital world, and so pat yourself all on the back for just this amazing time tonight.
All right, so I got the numbers, and honestly, it was pretty close. We only have two candidates, so one of you, of course, was first, another second. But Maya took it by a few votes, so Maya was first, and Mark was second. But again, thank you both for just taking the time out of your day to be here. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You are an inspiration. You are involved in learning more about the candidates and the issues that impact you. You are able to handle a huge influence on shaping positive changes in your community.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think that's basically the end of our D3 candidate forum. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for showing up.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night.
Thank you.